This is Reverse Polarity. It's Thursday night. It's me, your boy, Hi-Fi Vega, joined always by the man who never sleeps, the human car audio multi-tool, the
Ooh.
guy who enriches our lives like uranium every week. It's Dean Bailey from 5 Star Car Stereo. What's up, Dean?
Somebody's been watching the YouTube videos.
Right? Fresh
That
off.
was good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Those were fun. Those were fun. We've been waiting to put those up for a while. So, and if you don't know what we're talking about the Ground Zero videos that I put up the last couple days. People are going to be disappointed because we're not getting one tomorrow, but
yeah, like we've had two this week, right?
Yeah.
So you dropped the mids like Monday or Tuesday, and then today was yesterday was the amp.
Today was the amp.
Today was the amp, right?
Today was the amp. Tomorrow's the IRTA unboxing. So,
well, see, I was actually inspired. I watched those videos and I was like, "Oh, these are cool." So that inspired the topic for tonight. And I don't know if you got to see the topic tonight.
I didn't get to see the topic. I've been running around like a madman today. So,
it's a Dean day. It's a
pretty much
normal Dean. But what makes a brand a premium brand?
Ooh.
And I have polls. We can get to our normal stuff, but I started a poll in the chat here. And I just wanted to do a quick check-in on it. We've got 23 votes. It says that the poll is Reverse Polarity the best car audio live stream? And we have you can choose yes or you can choose yes. And so far the yeses have it at 100%.
I mean, I feel kind of jaded here, or I mean, because I kind of do a couple of these,
right?
I got this little Facebook one I've been doing for almost 6 years now. So,
yeah, it's just a little thing.
Yeah, I mean, we got that one over on YouTube. It's pretty popular, but I'll take what I can get.
That old thing, that old chestnut.
Yeah.
So what's been going on? What's been going on, man?
But I kind of like what you're going with that because no wrong answers for sure.
Right.
I am in Clearwater, Florida, technically. No, I had something that kind of irritated me the other day. Go figure. And I was going to talk on it on our Saturday show, but I think we could probably have more fun with it here than we would on the Saturday show. And that has to do with, like, what do you think is more important? Who designs the amplifier or where these amplifiers made?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Who designs it? No question.
But
it also has to be followed by quality control.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely more important to me. I think in the Basshead community, they would tell you, I'm just guessing, this generalization, this is what we're doing. I would say that they would rather have where it's made.
Right. So, and that's what I don't understand, because I had a guy that texted me and asked me, "Hey, what do you think of this brand?" I don't even remember what brand it was. Doesn't matter. It's some off the wall. He goes, "The boards are made in Korea." And I'm like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But that got me thinking. So, if the boards are made in Korea, but they're designed like shit, is it still not a shitty product that came from Korea?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, everyone on here loves Kicker.
Yeah.
Like, they love Kicker. They love everything about it. But, sorry. Their amps come from China. Okay?
Right.
And they're not made at one facility. They're made at multiple facilities, all across the country. A lot of these guys, you got, my friend Joe Hobart. You got Fernando that works there, which I can't pronounce his last name. And a half dozen other guys that, like, do great engineering there. Like there's a whole team of engineers there that design this stuff, but it's all made in China,
Right.
all of it. So what the question would be then is that because X brand has their board made by someone in Korea, that they don't design the product. Like, big surprise, guys. There's nobody there at Scar that designs products. They hire people to design the products for them, typically in Korea or China or wherever they're at. But they have no, they just say, hey, we want this, and the build house will and bring in their engineers and say, hey, we can make this for you, and so that's
almost solely based on cost too. Like you could go to them without your own design.
Oh yeah,
and you could probably say, hey, I want like one of the top tier amps available on the market today, and they could get you in the ballpark if you're willing to spend the money and the volume.
Quality control is not hard to do in China. Okay. Whoever's feeding you that line of shit is wrong. If you just follow me on this one. Okay. If you watched the video that we did when we went to Rockford Fosgate, they have the RATS machine that they build in here in Arizona, and they ship off to China. They send their crew there to install them. And the only way an amplifier can actually leave the assembly line is that it goes through the RATS machine. So you can't get a birth certificate. You can't get a serial number. All that stuff is generated from the RATS machine. So that amp has to go through this, do its test, spits out a number, and then the amplifier goes. That's it. Not only that, but there is someone in Arizona that monitors that the whole time it's running. They'll know when there's a problem before the people in China know there's a problem and can stop the line. So JL Audio has the same thing. They have a guy that is in actually Arizona, and they monitor what's happening in the plants overseas. So no, it's not hard to do. It costs money. And that's the problem, is that when you're going, oh, well, it's not hard to do quality control. It's just if there's not a body there or a process put in place, then yeah, it is. But you can't blame it on them because it's a service that they offer. I mean, Haley just went to a wedding, and we've all been to weddings, right? We've all been to a wedding. Okay. And the first question they ask, it's like, okay, do you want an open bar? Yeah, I'd like an open bar. For how long?
1 minute.
How about an hour? We'll do an open bar for an hour, and then the rest, maybe half price drinks. Okay, cool. So you've chosen, and then when everyone at the hour 2 is like, bro, this thing is lame. I'm out of here, man. Because you chose to save money here. So yeah, it's quality control is because you didn't put the pieces in place all the way through. I mean, you're not going to sit there and design an amazing product and then like half step it. It's just not going to happen. I mean, everyone would sit there and say like Tony D'Amore amplifiers are like the coolest thing ever, mildly priced, yeah, I want one of those because it's Tony's.
Right.
Okay, why are you buying it? It's made in China.
Yeah.
Or Bangladesh or Taiwan or one of those strange places over there, but it's designed by Tony. So that's the wash.
Yeah. It's just it's a matter of what you're willing to do to make sure that your product is getting taken care of. If you're a small company or a small, I would say, brand, and you're getting outsourcing and you're having them do all the legwork, and you're not checking that product as it comes in, then yes, quality control will be a very big issue because you're at the whim of whatever the person you're dealing with over there, the manufacturer you're dealing with over there, whatever they decide to do. If they're kind of shady, you might get a little bit of shady stuff going on.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. There's no question.
Up front, I mean, you may be okay, but if you're not doing on your end, it's what you didn't do.
Correct.
That makes it
up.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the politics of building stuff overseas as opposed to here, I don't want to get into that too much because I think we've covered that in the sense that if there was build houses here that were as robust as what we have overseas, that companies could go to and have things built, then things would be built here in the United States. I believe that's how that would work. Until we have the infrastructure to have build houses here the same way they do over there, you're not going to see a change.
Right.
Don't expect Rockford to pay or Kicker to pay or JL Audio to pay. JL Audio never even built an amplifier here in the United States, guys. They've never built an amp in the United States. They were one of the first companies to go overseas to get their amplifiers made. Like when it came time, like they built subs here, but when it came time to get their amps, they're like, let's go over there. So from day one, they were building their amplifiers overseas. What kind of crap do they get? They get no grief. They get no grief at all. And most people don't even realize this. Most people just assume they're like everyone else, that, you know, they started building amplifiers here and then they moved everything overseas. No, they literally started overseas and they showed everybody that. I mean, you got to figure there was the first guy that kept the doors open on Sunday, and then everyone kept the doors open on Sunday. Well, they were one of the first manufacturers to go over there and do that.
Right.
If not the first, they were one of the big guys that were like, let's go over here. And, you know, the other companies may have been screwing with it or playing with it or making some of their cheap stuff over there. But, dude, the high-end stuff was being built overseas.
Yeah, I mean, the first Class D amp I ever had was a Crossfire, which was been Korean from its inception, and you know they just pretty much, that was in 98 or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, see, if we had build houses here, the price would be more reasonable, because you got to remember what costs tooling is what costs the most. Okay, so if we had a facility here that had, like, for example, back to the D'Amore heatsink. Or amplifier. That heatsink is used by like 4 or 5 different amplifiers. I mean, Scar uses it, Ground Zero uses it, he's using it. I'm sure there's 10 other guys that are using that heatsink. It's a heatsink. Who cares? You know, it's what's inside that matters. What's up, fellas? Hope you all are well. And yes, R&D testing and revisions. Yeah, and that's tough. I mean, and you know, like when they were doing the Power Hog thing, it was like they were paying somebody over there to do engineering, I'm sure. And it's like, and then you got to wait, and they got to send you another one. And it's like, oh my God, it takes years. But JO and Brazilian have the same PCBs, full bridge, amplifier design. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people use full bridge now. I mean, why not? I mean, it's what it is. It's not going away.
And that was kind of like my latest video. That was one of the things I went over, was not all full bridge amps are Brazilian amps.
No,
because technically a Brazilian amp has to meet this very certain criteria, because they have tariffs and stuff they got to deal with. So they have to make it
very
as
few
cheap
parts
as possible. They have to make it as very.
It's not necessarily as cheap as possible. It's efficient as possible.
Right, efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, because they can't get. It costs way too much money to import products to build these amplifiers, so they have to take like power inverters and stuff like that and make amplifiers out of them.
Right, and I mean, that is not all full bridge. You know, Matt's are all full bridge, JL's full bridge, Kicker's full bridge. Rockford doesn't do all full bridge. They're kind of a mix, I think.
Still. Rockford likes to come up with their own stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know, they put it that every one of their boxes has every technology from you know, the 80s. So they just add one to the list every now and again to refresh.
Well, they learn that from the Japanese, because the Japanese do the same thing. The Japanese want a logo that they can talk about. I mean, just like this shirt here from Audio Control. It's like this is a play on that, like that put this on the side of a box, and you know, that's a feature. And it's like, no, that's not. We don't care.
It's a feature for like 2 or 3 things, but then eventually it's
you know, and it's,
we don't care about Topaz no more. Rockford Fosgate, you still put it on your boxes. I see.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, come on, isn't it fun?
It was so cool in the 90s though, when I had the Punch 225.2, the one that's sitting right over here. It seemed super dope then, but now,
you know, for somebody to rip on like a Brazilian design for having minimal approach, sacrificing quality, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and like and back them or back him. It's not that important to me. I can just say this. I mean, Kicker buys a lot of these manufacturers' amplifiers to test and let the engineering have their way with, and that's how they do their research. I mean, you got to know what everybody else is doing in order to make your own. So tear them apart, do what you want. Obviously, we have a working relationship with one of the biggest Brazilian amplifier manufacturers out there, and do they do things that are different than everybody else? Oh, hell yes. I mean, the fact that people still think that's a gain control on an amplifier, no, legit, it's a volume knob.
Right.
Okay. It's a volume knob with a distortion detector. I don't know how that works, but it's there. And if you keep the gain down, the amplifier sounds wonderful. They're small, they're compact, they put out a ton of power. I mean, they are what they are. I mean, and there again, there's multiple layers of BS in the Brazilian market as far as like, oh, this one's better than that one, and that one's better than this one. It's like,
they have their place. Like
there was a time when Sundown was the best SPL subwoofer. You know what I mean? It was like Sundown or nothing. And now there's everyone was just like FI. Remember FI?
Yeah, FI and remember when it was Elemental Designs, like the first internet car audio company I remember? Yeah. They were like way ahead. They were so far ahead of the curve that they got left behind, and like
it happens.
So
David, hit the like button.
Hit the like, man.
But I don't know. I just, to me, I just that the comment kind of struck me funny when they're like, "Do you think they're good? They're made in they're Korean boards."
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit where the board comes from, because epoxy, some fiberglass, a little resin, it's a board. Anyone can print a PCB pretty much to the same quality now. I mean, I could have one printed here in the U.S., so it's a PCB, man. It's the design that's printed on that PCB that is very important. And I mean, if anything, if the person that made that comment had watched the Kicker and the Rockford tour, you would think that what would radiate just like is there was engineers there, and they talked about how they design things. I mean, in the Rockford one, they went like balls deep, like, there's this, when the guy's telling us about how they're designing the amplifier, that was a 45-minute segment that I had to cut down to 3 minutes. But we went so deep into amplifier design. It was like, for one, I can't use a lot of this just because it's like secret shit that you're just telling me about. And two, it's like,
right. You can get in the weeds fine. That's the thing with engineers. They're very cool guys, but they can lose you quick. They can lose you very quickly.
Yeah. So I don't know. That thing just kind of irritated me, because it's like, I feel like we've shaken this tree enough that it's like, dude, it's the design. It's the design that matters. The design and the follow through of said design. You know, when you design this product and you go to your build house and your build house makes it and you get it back and you get to test your product.
Yeah.
And if it meets spec, then you go into production, or you have them make two more, and then you get your product, and you just hope that it's what quality control and test everything and move on. But
and just working in manufacturing myself, we literally do the same exact thing at work. We run our stuff, then we test it at every phase of the way, and then it goes out. So I mean, it's just something you got to do no matter what business you're in, amps or manufacturing in general.
And I think this is abstract when he says, I mean, at the end of the day, car audio and stereos don't matter. Big tech does. Who do you think is making car stereos? Big tech. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar business across the globe. Everyone has their hands in this. Everybody has their hands in this. For God's sakes, Samsung bought Harman.
Yeah.
Because they wanted into the car manufacturers. They wanted to build stereos for cars.
And somebody about Pioneer, right? Wait.
Yeah, Chinese company, because Pioneer
Right.
just couldn't figure the shit out anymore, and they just keep bleeding money like, yeah, bad. They don't know how to do it. Pioneer's been bleeding money for centuries.
Right.
It seems like since day one, they just want to lose money. But the thing is that these are all huge companies making lots of money. And no, I get it, like big tech. But what is technically big tech? Big tech is consumer goods. Those are where all the money is. I mean, yes, you can get one product that is a multi-billion-dollar supercomputer that runs the government, but how many of those you build in a year? Cars. So, but back to what I think he was trying to get at is that if there was build houses here in the United States, they build anything. You could put out amplifiers one day, you could put out computers the next day, you could put out washer and dryer, power board. I mean, everything has a PCB in it that does some kind, like we all found out, everything has a DSP chip, because DSP chips do all different things. It's not just equalization. It's a processor chip that does multitasking, and
they got hundreds of cars sitting waiting on those chips.
Yeah, waiting on those chips. So
yeah, and they're working on this now. They're trying to do some silicon based parts in the United States, but until that happens, that's something that you can't do company by company. And unfortunately, it's like something that is governmental. They have to incentivize these companies in some way to get that back here.
Well, it's funny because like we have call centers.
Yeah.
How many call centers are there now? Like there's probably somebody in the feed that works at a call center. Okay.
Yeah.
The call centers become the build house of the United States. I mean, it's like, we can do that. We can do this because it's the same workforce. It literally is. It's the same work. The only difference is they don't get to come to work in club work clothes, dressed like they're going to the nightclub when they're going to talk on the phone and say, how's your insurance on or is your car warranty expired? Let me let you talk to Han. If I remember all the pre-orders from the,
I totally missed out. The car audio forums, I skipped that whole thing. I just missed completely out.
Man, I was never part of that.
Yeah, I missed completely out. Although, they had good times then, I heard.
All right, what is this poll? What makes you consider something a premium brand?
And I put a softball, so quality is a softball. It's a catch-all, so we know that's going to be...
Yeah, which is weird, though, because how do you know quality?
Exactly.
So, like, I feel like you have to have the reputation to have the quality, because people have to have had your product in order to find out if it's quality or not. Otherwise, it's just a product.
Right.
I can tell you it's
reputation
quality.
And performance
will equal quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I threw cost in there because I think people just associate higher amounts of money with better quality, and sometimes that's the case, and then sometimes you got companies like Zapco.
I don't do anything with them.
I'm
so it's
sorry.
Okay.
I'm
sorry. No, I don't. I don't care. It's cool. We tried to do work with them. It didn't work out. So yeah, we tried, and I'll gladly send back the DSP they sent us because it never worked right. It's a shame. They can have it back. Hopefully maybe they fixed it by now. I doubt it, but yeah, I mean, everyone would assume quality, but I mean, I think quality kind of falls on a sliding scale. It's like there's no one of those things that you can't trade one for the other. Like you can't trade performance for quality. It has to perform to the amount of quality that is built into the cost.
Right.
So it's like, like Alpine, those, like I said, those little slashes at the beginning of Alpine, these are the things they stand for, like quality, performance, reputation, style, and cost. It's not those 5 things, but that's what those mean, because they realize that each one of those is equally important. So, when like the whole pick any 2 of these 3, you really can't do that as a manufacturer. You have to, like I talked to Steve Irby. And we were talking about the yellow amplifiers. Because I said, you guys got a 500 watt amplifier in this category. You got a 500 watt amplifier in this category and a 500 watt amplifier in this category. You got a good, better, best 500 watt amplifier. Yeah. And I know you want the best. You want to give everyone the best. So how do you make 3 500 watt amplifiers and then not be able, you know what I mean? Like, how do you do that as a manufacturer? Because you have 3 amps that are all 500 watts. They all put out 500 watts, but they range anywhere between, let's say, $200 all the way up to $600. How for like, and I know the answer to the question, but I wanted to hear his take on it as somebody who owns one of the largest car audio manufacturers on the planet. And, he actually simply said, well, everything has a budget.
Yeah.
And, we have a target and we make it the best we can for our target. So I feel a lot of the times when you look at these manufacturers, price point is first. So they say, all right, we want to try to achieve this for X amount of money.
Right.
All right. And then they aim for that and they get as close to that as possible. And yeah, some stuff is going to get changed and left out or do differently, or they might take the bass knob out, or they might go to screws instead of, wire with holes. And, so they're going to change things where they can to save the money to hit that, they go to a different style heatsink that's more affordable. So there's a lot of little things that they're going to do to hit that. And it'll do 500 watts. Mine only do like 502 watts.
Right.
Whereas the next level up, they're like, all right, well, we have this price point. What were all the things that we wish could have been in this amplifier that we couldn't put into that amplifier, but now we have the budget? Right. So it's like, oh, well, we go a little bit bigger power supply. We definitely use these type of terminals. We're going to go to a cast heat sink, all these things. And it's like, all right, well, now it's $150 more. And it's like, and now it's going to put out, let's say, 600 watts instead of 500 watts.
Right.
But so does that make
it could be like, it's going to put out its 500 watts at 9 volts or 16 volts, which is not the case for Kicker because they kind of do that with all theirs anyways, but depending on the manufacturer.
So the yellow amplifiers use a thing called a boost power supply.
Right.
So it'll because they came to the conclusion that nobody wants their amplifiers to shut off ever. Yeah. So they'll work down to 9 volts all the way up to 15 probably. I don't know what the top is because no one will ever hit that, it seems like. But your amp will never cut off. It'll just throttle back the power, which is what we saw when we were doing the 801 dyno. And we kept turning down the power until we found out that the amp dyno won't go below 9.5 volts. So it's like, all right, well, the amp dyno shut off. Shit. All right, we're done.
You see, the question led me to, like, in my opinion, I wouldn't consider Kicker a premium car audio brand. I'd consider them like the biggest car audio brand. They're like the mainstream. I would consider Rockford in that category.
Yeah.
But when we get to your shirt and audio control, boutique. I kind of consider, boutique, but also I kind of consider them a bit of a premium brand, even though they offer very comparable products to some stuff that Kicker makes, some stuff that Rockford Fosgate makes. On the middle to top end.
So I don't. This is something we actually spend a lot of time thinking about because what's it say? Do you use Sound Tools Studio 6 Digital? Yes, I use Sound Tools from Studio 6. I use the RTA app from them, Studio 6, which are good friends with the audio control guys. They all hang out on the weekend and probably smoked up. But anyways, I don't know. It's Washington State, man. Right. They do things differently there. I don't judge. You do what you want in your own free time. It's all good. Read a book, get high, jerk off, whatever turns you on. So when you look at like a Morel, okay, Morel is a top tier brand as far as I'm concerned in speakers. Right. Amplifiers, they don't really do much in. They have 5 amplifiers now, all great amplifiers, but very limited on that. I mean, to me, I look at them as a premium speaker brand. But a lot of people might sit there and go, well, I think Focal is probably more of a premium speaker. I mean, they wouldn't be wrong, but the problem is like all these manufacturers, they want to put their finger in every pool.
Right.
You know, so it's like Focal has Auditor, which is a great brand. It's a great speaker. They just updated them, which we'll be talking about more here shortly. Because I'm happy they did, because I wasn't a big fan of the previous ones, so they finally updated and made them better, which is cool. But there again, now you have that $59, $69, $79 price point to compete with all these other guys, and it's like, okay, so where does the line? It gets blurry really fast.
Yeah, as soon as you do that, it doesn't tarnish your brand, but it takes you down a slight notch. Because the price does play a certain part in this. If you're reaching the general masses, it's hard to be known as just as quote unquote premium brand,
right?
Just simply because you've reached mass appeal or whatever,
right,
or a certain price point, and it's not. I wouldn't say tarnish your brand, but it also it brings you down a notch to an ordinary level,
right? But there again, I mean, you have Utopias.
Right.
And Utopia M's that are like, wow. I mean, even Alpine has, the $35,000 Joyride right now, which is phenomenal. So I think the lines are becoming. I don't think you could just take a knife and say premium, not premium. I think you have to take it a case by case basis. I like to call them exotics, is the term I use when I'm talking with a customer. I call them, we have the American brands, we have the exotics, and then we have the stuff that, the Japanese brands that you're familiar with. And they're like, okay, what does that mean? And it's like, we carry the Alpine, Kenwood, Pioneer brands, and some Sony, which is all good stuff. Like, the Type R, the Type X, Exelon, XR, Sony, Mobile ES. These are all great products. Like, holy shit, these are like great Japanese products. But do they go head to head in the same conversation as, let's say, a Focal K2 or an Elate from Morel or a Voce from Audison, or, and I only use those, or an L7 or what, C7s, or insert $7,000 set of speakers here. Do they play in that? No, they don't. So, the homegrown brands are, of course, Kicker, Rockford, JL, even Audio Control would be a homegrown brand as far as I'm concerned. But it's so there again, there's some boutiques in there, and then you have like the cheap stuff, which is now the Chinese American brands, which are the old school stuff, like, your Orions, your PPIs, your Hyphonics and Crunch, and
like a lot of the DEI
Soundstream stuff. All that stuff that it's just like it's a name now that Maxsonic owns, and it just all kind of like,
well, see the thing that gets me, which I see it and I don't see it. So someone might see a $1,500 Moscone amp, and I see that and I'm drooling over that thing, right?
Yeah,
and
me too.
They've got like a cachet, like a brand where they demand a little bit of respect just by their product alone. But then you might have a JL audio amp that's that same price, and you show this to the average SQ guy, they're gonna think more of the price of the Moscone than the JL. They're gonna be like, yeah, it's JL. I understand it's quality, but I can get the Moscone for $1,500.
Moscone Pros, you get a Moscone Pro or VXI, you're getting the Moscone Pro, no question about it. I mean, but okay. So then the other side of that, which is the argument that I laughed my ass off when I was much younger and listening, is that when the guy comes in and says, "Well, I can get this 1,000, I can get an RP 1500.1 for $160." $180, whatever it goes for now. It's 1,500 watts. I can't pick up a Rockford BD 1501 for what, $600? Is that what it costs now? $550, $600?
Yeah.
Like, I can literally buy four of these RP 1500.1s. Would I want it? I don't know. Somebody might want to do that, but you know, and then you're trying to explain to them, well, this one is a better made amplifier, but they're like, yeah, but I could buy 4 of them for the price of that.
Right.
Why would I care? And it's like, that's the guy that just doesn't understand quality. He's fine with a $10 steak and not the $40 Wagyu Japanese. You know,
he wants a 72-ounce steak. He doesn't want an 8-ounce steak. He wants all for that price.
Yeah.
I think some. Yeah. Like you said, 3,000. Do they sound 10 times better? There is a point of diminishing returns where you're not getting as great a return from 100 to 300. You're gaining from 300 to 600. Once you get to the very high end, you're gaining, but it's not as big a gap.
No, you're not. But so, and the answer to the question is, $3,000 speaker sounds way better than a $300 set of speakers. But you have so. It's not as easy as it sounds. Okay, I could sell you a $300 set of speakers, and your expectation level is here. Okay, I'm going to put them in. They're going to sound good. I'm probably not doing sound treatment. I might be doing like a half sheet behind the door. I'm really going to push for those fast rings. And now that $300 set of speakers is a $600 set of speakers. Okay, and I've done that to try to optimize that $300 speaker to make it sound the best that I can. All right.
Right.
Now, when I sell that $3,000 set of speakers, there's a lot more work that goes into those because they're $3,000 speakers. Now your expectation level, I can't talk tonight, is here.
Right.
Okay. So I have to deliver on that. So that means we're doing lots of sound treatment. We're doing fast strings. You're getting a DSP. You're getting tons of power. And, so those $3,000 speakers are now $6,000 speakers. Okay. Because that's what it takes to make them sound 10 times better than the other ones. Because there again, you have to scale up. You can't just now. The problem that you run into is that a lot of people assume that because I spent more money on something, it's louder. All right. I've had this debate with these people, and it's like, I need to know what your goal is here, because yes, I can sell you a set of focals and they're going to sound amazing, like amazing, like heaven. But that doesn't mean they're going to be louder than the speaker that's a 10th of their price. Okay.
Right.
And then people just look at you like, well, why wouldn't they be? And you're like, because that's not the determining factor here. The presence of sound is the determining factor. This sounds okay, but this sounds better. All right.
You ever just tell them, like, we're not talking about the same thing here. We're having 2 separate conversations.
Well, I mean, prime example. I had a guy come in the other day, and he's like, I want to put new speakers in my car. And I said, why? I want it to be louder. It's not how it works. Okay. What do you mean? I can't. I just want more. I just want new speakers. I'm like, I can't do that for you. Okay. First things, you have a premium audio system. All right. So you already have a premium 2-ohm speaker in there that's designed to work with the premium amplifier that you have in there, and it's tuned for those to make them sound, sadly, but the best that they're sounding right now. You paid, $4,000 for that. Qualifying the customer is important. By good sound, they are referring to volume. Sometimes they are, but that's the conversation you have to have with them. And all right, well, let me finish this, and we can kind of go over that. And so, he thought he could just come in, buy new speakers, and it's going to sound better. And it's not. It's not. In his case, it would sound worse and would not be as loud. So you have to explain to them politely that, okay, this is how your system was built from the factory. This is what we have to do to So you already spent $4,000 and you sound this good. All right. We want to sound this good. Well, we still need to build in that $4,000, and then we need another $4,000 to go above it. Okay. Because we can't use any of this money you've already spent. It's wasted.
Yeah.
So yes, that $4,000 system is going to take $8,000 to make better.
Yeah.
Every time. And it doesn't matter if it's 10 years old or if it's brand new. It's going to take large sums of money to get it to sound better than it is. And if somebody wants to argue with me on that point, fine, go right ahead. but your idea of good and my idea of good, I have to deliver on. So, you know, you can
someone's
settle,
literally paying you to make it, you know, they might be doing it themselves. A lot of times their arguments come from they're doing it themselves, which that's just a total separate argument than you have because you're doing it for somebody as a job.
I have to deliver.
Right.
Every day.
When I think, you know, abstract is kind of a little bit on point. You know, it's the Moscone is quality, but sometimes not worth the price. It's kind of like a Gucci. And I think that's kind of I fall into that because I actually love Moscone amps, the ones I play with.
Yeah.
I think they sound fantastic. And the name alone, having it in there, it does something for you.
You're rough, Bobby. Okay, so sales we're all right. So sales by Dean 101. Okay, this is if you have the unfortunate pleasure of coming into 5-star one day and have me come out and design a system for you, know that I am not the guy that's going to tell you how much it costs, although I do have a general idea of what things cost just from sitting there and listening to the conversations after the fact. I am there. I'm working for you. Okay. I am there working for you in the sense that I'm trying to listen to what you're going to tell me and design something that fits the criteria that you're telling me. So I will ask questions. Hopefully you'll give me the right answers. And if you forget to tell me something, well, I can only work with the knowledge that I have. So, and know that I'm going to design you your dream system. I'm not going to settle for anything other than the best that we can deliver. Now, where that always gets kind of is how much money you're willing to spend. The thing that most people, not you guys necessarily, because you're fans of the stuff, so you have a relative idea of what this stuff costs. But daily, we have people that come in and they just don't understand. A guy come in the other day, brand new 2021 vehicle, and he's thinking he can it sounds, oh my God, it sounded so bad. I was like, Jesus Christ, this has 8 speakers in it and it sounds this bad. Like, holy shit. I'm like, all right,
what kind of vehicle was it?
It was a brand new 2022 Toyota 4Runner.
Oh, wow.
Non-JBL, and it sucked. And he's thinking he can come in for $2,000 and make this thing sound better. And I'm like, okay. Reel it in a little bit. All right. And it's not like we can't take $2,000 and get you something that is going to improve the way it sounds. But you also like what he wanted in listening to him. All right. So anyways, so now we're talking. All right. And the first thing I do is Paul's going to introduce me to you and stutter like a motherfucker and not make any sense to me. And I'll just ignore everything he says for the first 3 minutes. And I go, is your car here? Yeah, let's go out there. We're going out to the car. I'm looking at how dirty the car is. I'm looking at, what year is the car? What condition is the car in? What are you listening to? I want to hear it. If it's a new car, I want to sit in your car and I want you to play it for me. And I want you to tell me what it is you don't like about this car. If it's an old car, I kind of know what the problems are, but I still want you to tell me because sometimes you just need a subwoofer.
Right.
Sometimes it's just like, you need a set of speakers. Other times it's like, dude, this thing sucks. It's like, okay. Or it's like, I've always wanted a system I've wanted a system since high school. I could never afford one. I have the money now. I want a system. I want to feel what all my friends felt. And it's like, okay, no problem. That happens more than you can imagine. Or I've always had a system and this thing is driving me up the wall. So, you have to have this conversation and figure out what it is that they want. And then we talk about tweeters because in my mind, there's 2 types of tweeters. There's a hard dome tweeter and there's a soft dome tweeter. The hard domes are typically metal or some form of epoxied material, and they're hard, like tar. You tap them and they tap back. Whereas a soft dome, you tap and oh crap, I just broke my tweeter. Okay.
Dad's tweeter.
And so those 2 speakers have different sounds. And so it's like, if you really like glass breaking sound, that's a hard dome. If you're more of a and more natural sounding, piano sounds awesome, that's going to be a silk dome. They're both loud, and that's the problem, that it's like they will both get loud. Like if you hear a set of Morelli hybrids, that's a loud goddamn tweeter. Oh my God. Like, but it's very natural sounding, and you could listen to it that loud and you're not going to walk away fatigued.
Right.
Okay. So we have that conversation. We kind of figure out, like, are you a bar band, or do you like fucking thrashing nightclub? Yeah. So once we figure that out, then we kind of move on and we start kind of working towards the budget. I mean, if I'm in a hurry, I'll just flat out and go, listen, do you have an idea of what you're going to spend on this? Have you done any research at all? Because I'm usually in the middle of doing something else or 5 other things. And it's like, I need to move the conversation to its conclusion. And so I'll build you your dream system, and I will listen to you, and I will hand you a piece of paper, and it'll have the best system to fulfill whatever it is you've just told me. And it could be $5,000, it could be $3,000, it could be $10,000. It's what it is. I have no care, no compassion, no anything. It's like, what you've just told me, this is what it will cost. So, and that's just it. It's the reality. This is the reality of it. It's like when you're building a house and you say to your contractor, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want 2 of these, and I want that. And he goes, no problem. Writes it all down and goes, here. And you go, oh,
yeah. Well, let's dial something back here.
Let's reassess where it is we're at. And in some cases, it's just a matter of like, all right, I understand sticker shock, but there's enough people now that buy these vehicles that say they're going to have this vehicle till the end of time. And it's like, okay, so, you were prepared to spend $3,000. We're at $5,000. We're $2,000 over where you wanted to be. You're planning on keeping this vehicle for the next 20 years. Do you really think over the course of 20 years, $2,000 is going to make or break this deal to have what you've described to me as your dream system? Yeah. And it's like, well, when you put it that way, it kind of, I don't want to be the cheap ass, and I don't want to wake up a year from now and regret not spending the $2,000 that I'm probably going to waste on some other dumb shit. So you just do it,
Exactly.
But
yeah, it's saving for something. I often will catch myself wanting to buy something right now. I want to have something right now, instead of saving the extra, month or whatever I need to get something that I really want.
Yeah.
You don't want to get caught like that.
No, I don't know anybody in Puerto Rico. I'm sorry.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I don't know nobody in Puerto Rico. I mean, I don't know any shops in Puerto Rico.
They got to have a bunch of. I bet they have a pretty poppin' car audio scene.
I don't know, man. I'm sure they got to have somebody, but it's an island, man. That's rough.
Yeah.
And I know they send a lot of shit from Miami to Puerto Rico, so that's a tough one. Against my better judgment, still doing rear fill for more volume, running D6 1200 with 2 tunes, 3 active, front stage for 1, then full till boogie on the second. No, that's cool.
I like rear fill.
I have nothing against rear fill. I mean, we put it in almost every car we do because why not?
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and a guy comes in and says, I want rear fill. And I go, I don't want to say that $700 set of Focal coaxials for the rear doors, man. I'm just not going to do it. No, fuck that. You're getting those coaxials, baby.
Right.
And you're going to love them.
You got to have them.
I mean, they make Dean, anyone in Vegas you would refer. The only guy I know in Vegas is Kingpin, and he's by appointment only, and you have to buy everything from him. He is not a bring me your stuff and put it in. He's appointment only. You got to call him, making a reservation, or email him, and he will only install what he sells, nothing else. So does good work, but I don't know. I don't really know a lot of guys in Vegas. I don't know if there are any.
Well, I did have a question for you. How often do you install someone's dream system? Like, what is that, like a every other month thing, every twice a year?
No, it's all the time.
Oh, all the time. So you're doing like people's dream systems all the time.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh man,
yeah, all awesome. The time.
But the expectations are probably pretty high.
No, not really. I mean, okay, so what it comes down to is like, right now, the problem I have is that I'll talk to you about your system, and it's probably like 2 months before we do it. So I'll forget everything we've talked about because I've talked to 100 other people between now and then. And it's like, for example, working on this Honda Accord. no shit, I've talked to 3 people about Honda Accords in the last like 2 weeks.
Right.
I have no idea which guy this is. I don't know what we talked about, and I don't know about it. And there's not a lot you can do in a Honda Accord. They all want basically the same thing. It's like they've all seen the video. They want the 5-channel amp. They want, you know, really nice set of front stage. They want a subwoofer, and it's like I don't know which guy this is. I don't know, you know, and so you're just like, I don't know. I don't know why we're doing this. I don't know if was this his dream system? Did we settle? Did we have a budget? I don't remember any of that. And it's really, that's kind of the frustrating side of what's happening now, is that we have, which means me, has to come out with a better process so I can jog my memory 2 months later as far as what it is we're doing. But no, dream systems happen all the time. I mean, it's ridiculous in a great way, because, you know, if I get to design you the dream system, I'm sure you're going to be happy.
Right.
If you design your dream system and I have to put it in, I have no horse in this race. And it's very sketchy that it, and sometimes it's nerve-wracking. We've done like 2 of those in the last 2 weeks. And it's you know, the end result is always like, oh man, you know, because we know where it's going. I mean, it's not like we don't know where it's going.
Right.
We're scared to get there sometimes, because it's like, man, you know, he's doing a lot. I mean, he's doing a lot, and he kind of not doing a lot where he needs to do a lot. And it's like,
yeah,
but no, I got all that. We're going to do this. And it's like,
yeah,
that's what you picked. Okay. I would never pick this.
I bet it kind of sucks when people already have the equipment too. I mean, it might not suck, but you don't know if it's going to work. And yeah. I don't know.
So what happens a lot of the time?
We're being attacked, if you can hear that in the background.
What are you being attacked by?
I don't know, the refrigerator.
Oh, okay. I can't hear it. It's all good. So a lot of the times what will happen is that if somebody has their own equipment from either a previous build or just bought a bunch of stuff, or they're stockpiling crap, it's like they'll bring it in, and this is where, you know, sometimes this happens between Paul and I, and it's like, I don't want to do something just to do something because I know it's wrong. And it's like, to me, it doesn't make sense for me to install your stuff and just because you're not going to be happy. Like, you think you're going to be happy, but the reality is you're not going to be happy. Person has a bunch of gear already. No bueno. Yeah. Yeah. So,
and I think that's the point of it. You know, it's like, I think it's better for the customer overall, because now if you buy everything from wherever you're getting it, 5-star, wherever, when you have a problem,
you just take it back to us and we deal with it.
Right. Yeah. And the install, you might be able to take them, but who knows if it's the amp? You're gonna have to send the amp off. Who knows
that's
when you're
on
gonna
you.
get it back? You know, it's yeah.
Oh, it sucks. No, people do not come in with 1 farad capacitors anymore. If they did, I probably would not put it in. More than likely, I'm not installing it anyways. If they did, I would just tell them, this isn't going in the car.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, it would be a cool looking piece, but yeah.
No,
it's
yeah.
It's got to help with the headlight dim.
Yeah, no, it's not. But I mean, the thing of it is that, like, you know, you want everyone to have the best experience possible. That's the hands down most important thing for me, is that, you know, the customer leaves happy and he has a great experience, and it's solid and it works, and it's what we talked about. Right. When you bring me your stuff, it's like all I get to do is put it in, and I can only work with what I got. And sometimes what I got ain't a lot. So if it's totally off the rails, we're not putting it in. Like, hands down, we're not I'm like, okay, listen, this is a waste of my time, because I'm going to pay you to put it in. Yeah, you're not. You're going to pay me to put it in, but you're not going to pay me to have to listen to you tell me how terrible it sounds and how it wasn't what you expected. You're not going to pay me to deal with that. And then you're going to expect me to fix it because you've already paid me. And the answer to that is no, all the way across the board. So,
well, he used to be installer. He just doesn't have time to do it, so he's gonna sit.
Oh yeah, but he'll wait. Yeah, that's why we got rid of our waiting room. No, but I mean, there's plenty of guys that come in with boxes of stuff, and I just look at it and I go, all right, we can put this piece in here, and we can put that piece in there. The rest of the stuff, I don't care what you do with, but we're not putting it in. And why? It's like because it's just all wrong. And I just passed a new policy. This was one that we had, and then somehow we kind of laxed up on it a little bit. But I'm coming down like the hammer of God on this one. We are not taking, like, if you've got wire, that's great. Sell it to your friend. Keep it for a rainy day. But we are not using wire or distribution blocks or RCAs or any of that shit from anyone anymore ever again. I've just, the last 2 weeks, it's just been a nightmare, and I'm like, I'm over this shit.
Yeah, especially when you already have the stuff you work with. You know exactly what you're going to get when you put that in. And yeah, and plus, like, it had Tessa tape on it maybe at some point. And yeah.
Well, no, we'll never use used stuff. Like, you never use used. But I mean, like, I'll have a guy show up with a bag of, what is it? Down for Sound wire or what's that other company?
A Hi-Fi Vega Big 3 kit. Like, you son.
No, fuck that guy. We got more heat shrink. We're gonna burn this shit up. But no, and it's I can't think of the name of those other companies. But it's not that they're bad companies. But what happens is they give us fuse holders we never work with, fuses that are the wrong size, ringtones that don't fit. The wire's too short. They thought they understood. They give us like 20-foot RCAs when we need a 6-footer. And it's like sky high. Thank you. It's all good stuff, but it's great if you're doing it yourself. If you're going to show up to a shop with a steak and go, here, cook this on your grill for me. No, man. I'm done. I'm done.
We got wire here. We keep it here.
Yeah. It's all good. Cause you're going to have all the wrong shit. And
yeah. And it's always incomplete. I definitely can see that.
Yeah, it's like I don't like we have certain things we like, and that's all I want to use. I don't want to use anything else. And that's that. And twat's twat.
What? Hey, and you got enough people coming that if they don't want it, then the next guy that wants it can step up.
Yeah, I could retire. Just call it a day. Do something else.
That ain't happening.
$15 an hour serving fries.
There you go.
Doing a D6 1200 front stage, ACM 2.300 for rear fill, then LC 1.800 for under the seat sub, and a 2018 Chevy Silverado crew cab. Going to ask Jamie to submit pics for Clean Wire Club. Okay, you're doing a radio. If you're not doing a radio, make sure you get the Amp Pro for that 2018 Silverado, because even if it's not a premium audio, the APGM 61 will reprogram the radio through the MOS bus and give you a full flat 6-channel preamp output that you can use, and it would work great for that. That's what we would do. I would not do high level out of that radio, especially for that system. I just get the Amp Pro, plug it in, call it a day, rocking and rolling. Personally, I'd like to replace the radio, but you don't have to. I get it.
All right. The radios are a pain. So, what's going on? What do you got coming up? You got the news tomorrow.
We got the news tomorrow. We're doing an unboxing of the IRTA2 tomorrow night or tomorrow morning, because those are starting to ship. They're doing really well. I don't know. I feel like Donald Trump. They're doing really well. We're making lots of money.
The best
tool ever. I couldn't ask for anything better. You guys are fabulous. Just keep doing fabulous things. We have more, so just keep buying them forever and ever and ever. It's the best tool in the world. If you have an iPhone. If you don't, well, it sucks to be you. You're stupid.
If you have an iPhone, you're stupid. If you don't have an iPhone, you're stupid. That's
whatever works. I don't care. If you don't have an iPhone, you can't use my tool. But I mean, I understand, and there's reasons for that, but we don't have the time to get into it. So, next week you'll get more videos. Right now we're just cruising along. Monday we're not going to do a show, which we forgot to mention because I'm taking the day off. A friend of mine is coming into town, and we're all going to Disney. So. It's about time. I need a break. So taking a personal day, a PD personal day. But no, honestly, right now, the only thing that's going on is that we're ramping up for Knowledge Fest and the Master Tech Expo. I mean, we're we're just gonna keep kicking out videos and yep, tune in to Side Jag coming up next, Ghostbusters. But no, we're just gonna keep kicking out videos and doing our things and getting everyone hyped for Knowledge Fest, all the live content you'll get from that, and there's supposed to be tons of people there, so tons of manufacturers. So hopefully we'll get to do a bunch of interviews and see a bunch of cool shit.
Yeah,
that's all we can hope for.
Yeah.
What about you?
I got a video coming out Sunday. That's about it.
Perfect.
I've been chilling, man.
We didn't get to talk about Haley's video. Damn it.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it was good. It was a good video. But on our next show, I've dropped a link in chat. Mr. El Fuego, the Flame himself, is going to join us. He went and watched it.
Nice.
So we have.
Oh, that's phenomenal! I can't wait. Well, with that, let's end this show so we can get to that one.
Let's do it.
All right. Same bad time.
Same bad channel.